Hi, welcome back to Conversations with Kanyomozi. My name is Lisa Kanyomozi Wabwani, and I hope you liked the last vlog on trauma. I hope you were educated and informed, and maybe if you hadn't placed a word or definition to what you were going through, that was able to give you a definition. Okay, so because we talked about trauma, we have to talk about triggers. I was involved in a conversation this past weekend, and I got triggered by the conversation that I had, because as a victim or survivor of certain traumas, there's things that remind you of it, there's things that take you back to that place, especially if you've not fully healed, and there's some traumas that you might not ever heal from. Okay, so what is a trigger? A trigger is a reminder of a past trauma. So something that reminds you that this happened to you, So for example, someone who was in the war and they have trauma around the war. When there is some sort of noise or bomb or loud splash or something, loud hit or something, it affects them. It takes them back to the time when they were in that place and gives them the same emotions, maybe of fear or panic or whatever it is that they experience. So, or when someone has been in a survivor of domestic violence. So when someone randomly grabs them or pushes them, that could be a trigger for them to take them back to what had happened to them before. And before we go anywhere else, we'd like to talk about how triggers are formed. Because during trauma, your brain doesn't speak. It just exists. It doesn't necessarily help you do better. So it compartmentalizes certain things that happen in that time. For one, my traumatic event happened in 2016, just after that Shiba song, If You're in Uganda, Wadawa X Wange, something like that came out. So I was at a club and that song played multiple times during the event that was traumatic to me. So whenever I hear that song play, I'm scared. Like I'm actually scared, like I can't breathe. Like my heart hurts and tears are about to pour, because it takes me back to that thought process. So it could be a scent, it could be a sound, it could be a feel of something, it could be a color, whatever it is, your senses might have picked up on it, and that becomes a trigger for you. Okay, and how to deal with triggers. I don't think there's a specific way. Because even when I choose not to listen to that song in particular, it might just play as I'm passing by on a border and I can't do anything about it. But if you're able to avoid places that are triggering to you, say locations, maybe if something happened in Tinder, so you don't have to pass in Tinder or that specific place, that you don't remind yourself of it. If you're able to do certain things like that, especially when your triggers are very loud and present, I'd advise you to do so. But also therapy. If you can afford it, if you know someone who can afford it for you, if you are able to go to therapy to help your problems, to help your situation, to help you deal better. Because as much as you'd like to avoid these triggers, you may not be able to avoid them for a long period of time. So therapy to help you work through them, breathing exercises, process those emotions, because a lot of time triggers lie under emotions that we've not processed. That's something that you can do. I hope you've learned from this vlog. I hope I can give you a clearer place to look at the triggers that you might be having. And let's have a conversation down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Conversations with Kanyomozi.